how many times to this point have we seen that the statues from the old world, they don't have their hands anymore? The stories tell us that the old world, some individuals had 6 fingers and 6 toes. Should we take this further with the first mention of giants with 6 fingers and 6 toes appears in ancient texts, the Bible, and various mythologies, where we have shown so many times that these so-called myths are so much more factual than the mainstream narrative that we have all been told. One of the most famous references comes from the book of 2 Samuel in the Old Testament, which mentions a giant named Ishbi-Benob, who was described as having 6 fingers on each hand and 6 toes on each foot, a descendant of the Nephilim, a race of giants mentioned earlier in Genesis, with statues from the old world exposing the truth, showing the depictions of the past, destroyed so many times, chopping the hands off over and over, chopping the feet off. And when they don't do this, it exposes so much. Just like we saw in episode 109. All of this, in my opinion, all based on my research. You are always free to think whatever you'd like. I've said this since the very beginning. That being said, let's keep going. And there was yet a battle in Gath, where was a man of great stature, that had on every hand 6 fingers, and on every foot 6 toes, 24 in number, meaning 24 fingers and toes in total. And he was also born to the giant. All of this is a myth. Are you sure? With 7 full books documented as being removed from the Protestant Bible. 7 full books removed, along with additional parts of other books, such as Esther and Daniel, all excluded. And we all know that it wasn't just 7. What was being removed changed. I'm not speaking to the 7 books that were removed. I am so much more interested in if there was more than 7 at this point. I believe that this book, the Bible, is directly from the old world, telling all of us, admitting that this incredible book has been altered. So let's turn this up a notch. Polydactyly is the condition of having extra fingers or toes. A condition? Or is this the giants, the Nephilim from the old world, the previous civilization? Egypt, where some mummies found in high-status tombs were reported to have extra digits. Finding mummies with extra digits in Thebes, the ancient capital of Egypt. Archaeologists discovered a tomb. Was it just one? You tell me. A tomb belonging to a royal or high-ranking individual. The Nephilim? I believe so. The tomb contained mummified remains with unusual characteristics, including extra fingers and extra toes. This is unbelievable. Is this what we are all being blocked off from? That the Nephilim were the leaders of the old world? Does the extra finger, the extra toe, does this expose that? And this is why the statues of all of them are all removed today. I believe that this is the case. Like I've said since the beginning, I don't believe that this is thousands of years ago. I believe that this was only a few hundred years ago. And it's getting clearer and clearer. Mummies from the Valley of the Kings in Egypt, which were discovered in our timeline yet again, just like it is every single time. The late 19th and early 20th centuries have been examined for unusual traits like polydactyly, 6 fingers, 6 toes, with modern archaeological excavations reporting finding remains of individuals with extra digits in the tombs. I believe that we fully understand why these statues of the past are deliberately destroyed, chopping the heads, the hands, and the feet off of all of them perfectly with a saw all over the world, because we all know that this isn't just in Egypt. The mound builders of North America, specifically Ohio, Illinois, and the Mississippi River Valley, we are just getting started today. We are going to blow people's minds. Welcome to episode 113 of My Lunch Break. I hope you're all having a great day. And if you're new, welcome. our sponsors over on Patreon. Thank you to FlatEarthDave.com. You can check out his app, the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac app. I'll put the link right in the description. And you can use my referral code, MLB. If you click the Tartaria button, you'll see the My Lunch Break playlist right here. The app is awesome. Thank you to Rebecca K, David and Sherry Ferguson, Chuck Templeton, Joy Lee, Stephanie Nolan, the Burlesons, Suez KC, Edwin Rice, Helmut, Charles Kruger, Don Gaston, Dan Woodall, Dale, DJ Clicktrack, Edward and Brianna, Jacob Law, Jim Ribley and Christine Duggan, Kyle Glascock, BKTFnews.org, Ben Dries NL, Natalie Shippenoff, Amberson EMC, HK Sue, Melissa Edgar, Biggles, Clayton Lamar, Will Task Homestead, John Adams, Roberts O'Zolins, Phoenix Art, The Arnolds, Attila Power, VKH Bonner, Forbidden Gecko Love, Justin Grobner Grubb, Leah Strong, Dakota Dunn, Ivan Apoctoli, EggardT-shirts.com, Meta, Jason Hochberg, Marie C, ValleyMedicinals.com, Kyle Logan, Alina and Chris the IT Guy, Michael Dingyu, Patriot Armory, Tom O'Hara, Michael D. Connor, C3SCOB, Ancient Tallow, Jeffrey Temple, SonyaDane.com, James Alt, Bucksui, Jason Prest, Suki Warrior, We the People, Migs, Mark Chapman, Muji and DeClan, Ariana Oates, Jenica Joyce, Nathan Burba, Ski, Codrenth, Beacon of Truth, Liberty's Arborist, Thomas Thorpe Peterson, Zinger Coffee and Tea, Kay Moore, DevlinMcGregor.com, Miss Fox, Diamond Jewel, David Rauschenbach, Emily Maryland, Felipe, Curious Cat, Mike D, etc., Dan McGee, Lori Hedvig Johnson, Terry, Paraplegic Coffee, Ellie Annie, Ivan Apoctoli, Seth Craigo, D Woods, Glenn Gunderson, Mousie's Mouse Cheese Records, Robert's Brain is Gone, Extreme Reality Check, Anna and Marley Valdez, Wayne T, Late for Dinner, Wanakar Camo, Paolo Goncalves, Jesse De Leon, Blake, Rick Tapke, Ducks, MDF TFV, William Richard Jeffries V, Dax Bilchek and Son, Jetski Chuck, Rod Way, Checkmate, Dylan Mugenberg, Leonard Insalacro, Robert Petro, Katz Hill, Bruce Latour, Susie Q, Yark 143, Sven Eric, Janet Elizabeth, Dr. Mom, Carrie, Kitty Kitties, Making Eagles, GOL, I'm Patriot, Doc Halo, Lisa Boutwell, Frizz Tickle, Brenna Fernandez, Paraduction, Jack Kramer, Henry's Mom, Necrodemonics, Charmstar, A&W Kerrigan, Tim Skin, The Lady Lacey Show, Miss Moreno, Shibba Shaba in the Darkness. You guys are all awesome and helping this channel out a lot. This research is incredible, and it all fits together over and over like a puzzle. I've said this for so long. It feels so much like a game, and I believe that it is. I believe this is all to find the truth. It's all laid out there for us to find it. If you begin to put the pieces together and know exactly what you're looking for, it all begins to tell a story, an incredible story, the true history, while at the same time exposing the false narrative. In episode 45, we went on top of the Cahokia mounds. This was like 66 weeks after episode 111. 66 weeks later, we found the next puzzle piece to this location in Southern Illinois, USA, that archaeologists have uncovered hundreds of human burials, with hundreds more burials being discovered across the other mounds. And the exact numbers vary due to not completing the excavation. They stopped excavating the site. We know this from episode 111. And we only needed to wait 2 more weeks to put the next puzzle piece together for this location. Not only were these people found underneath this supposed dirt pile that we all know is a temple covered by grass, but we find something incredible about these people that are still here at this site today. And I believe that we've found the reason that they stopped digging, all to preserve their narrative. The Cahokia Mounds, one of the largest sites in the Americas that we found so far, has yielded numerous burial mounds and remains, with some reports, though not extensively documented, of course. These reports documented that there are skeletons buried at the Cahokia Mounds with extra digits. telling all of us that this Mississippian culture viewed these individuals with extra digits, extra fingers, and extra toes as possessing special significance or power. We have just exposed that the Nephilim were in Illinois, USA, and it's looking like they're still possibly buried there today, 2 feet underneath the dirt, like we have shown. The mounds at Cahokia were used for ceremonial and burial purposes. We have also shown they were for sacrificial purposes, showing that we obviously don't know what the Nephilim were up to. Possibly not great things. With some of the skeletons found associated with elite figures, just like we saw in Egypt, indicating that Polydactyly was seen as a sign of strength or divinity. You're not seeing these individuals buried with a chisel next to them. These individuals with 6 fingers and 6 toes, they weren't found with a rake next to them. They weren't off making pottery. These were the leaders. They were in charge. And I believe that we've fully exposed this. And it all started with having open eyes, seeing that they would chop the hands off of the statues, understanding that the statues that we all see today are actually depictions of the past and not just myth. And then that evolved into seeing that their hands and feet were also removed perfectly, over and over. And now we're finding evidence that they have found the leaders of the past, the leaders of the old world. 6 fingers, 6 toes, and they were giants. And they are being hidden from us today, telling us that they are preserving the site when they are just preserving their narrative. Just like we saw in 1967. They found these individuals buried, mass graves, and then they stopped in 1971. It's very clear at this point that the land that we all live on is filled with such a different story than what we have all been told. A controlled narrative, a molded one, to fit into this ridiculous timeline that we've all been given. Understanding that a giant race was here, and they had 6 fingers and 6 toes. A race that is documented. These individuals have been found, and we know their locations. And trust me, we are just getting started. There are so many more. The Nephilim explains so much about the old world, and it opens up a brand new door. It possibly explains how things were actually constructed. A much more logical explanation for the pyramids of Giza is that there were actually bigger people here. It would just make a lot more sense that bigger people with more fingers and more toes, with more knowledge of this place that we live, built this. This shows that constructing the Milan Cathedral, the Cologne Cathedral, with a donkey and a chisel, with no lights on, dirt roads, and no toilet paper until the 1800s, doesn't make logical sense. This story is done. The history that we've all been told is in the past. It is now a myth, especially when we go to Ohio. The Adena Mound, located in Adams County, USA, where they excavated the burial site, and it revealed the remains of individuals with extra digits. Elite status yet again, where the Cherokee called them the Moon People. The Utes and the Paiutes spoke of a hideous race of cannibals, 10 feet tall, living in caves. Are these caves, or are these tunnels? And the Choctaw also have an account of the race of giants that first colonized the Ohio Valley. This is all in the USA. Cushman then recounts the discovery in 1880 at a burial mound near Plano, Texas, of human bones of enormous size. The jawbones so large as to slip over the face of a man with ease, with many historians speculating that they were the builders of the Adena Mounds, the place that they found the 6-finger, 6-toe individuals. Multiple sources, all connecting back to this location. The Cherokee, calling them the Moon People. I've had so many requests asking me to go into the Cherokee and do some research. Well, here we go. According to the Cherokee stories, the Moon People are described as large, powerful beings who were considered giants with extraordinary abilities. These Moon People, which I believe are the Nephilim, were said to ascend towards the moon, where they continued to watch over the earth. The Watchers. We are connecting massive dots today. Yes, the Watchers. These are the parents of the Nephilim in the Bible. Please hit that like button and subscribe if you're enjoying these episodes. It helps grow this information to so many new people that never knew that these stories connected, and that our history is so much more incredible than what we've all been told. Thank you to all of our badge members, all of our Patreons, and every single subscriber. You are all incredible, and I'm very thankful for all of you. We are on YouTube, Rumble, X, Instagram, TikTok, Rockfin, and Spotify. If you're looking for even more content from us, in the Bible, the Watchers were angels that were sent to earth to watch over the humans. Then they fell in love with the women and had children with them. The children were the Nephilim, the offspring. And these Nephilim were described as savage giants that endangered humanity. The moon people in Cherokee stories then ascended towards the moon to continue watching over the earth, often seen as ancient guardians of the world, giants, suggesting that the giants were so powerful that they could no longer remain on earth and were sent back to the moon. And then we find them here, buried. And in my opinion, this is proof of their existence. Finding the 6 fingers, the 6 toes, jaws that could go over a human head, and then not giving us any photographs of them, and just relying on written reports and sketches. We all know that we were given the camera back in the 1800s. So when they found them in the 1970s at the Cahokia mounds in southern Illinois, this would not have been an issue to take a picture of it, telling us that photographic techniques were not as advanced or commonly used in archaeological practice. This is a bunch of nonsense, an excuse to keep these findings hidden and out of the mainstream narrative. This is exactly why they stopped excavating the site in 1971. This is unbelievable. Local legends describe these individuals as giants or people of great power. In several mounds, the archaeologists uncovered skeletons with 6 fingers on each hand and 6 on each foot. The individuals appeared to be of large size. Again, we see the depictions all over the world. They don't design the entire thing perfectly and then accidentally put an extra finger on both hands. That's not what happened. This was done on purpose. So when someone has polydactyly, this can mean that they have 6 fingers on one hand and the other hand has 5 fingers and both feet have 5 toes. It could also mean that both hands have 6 fingers and both feet have 6 toes. So to be more specific and attack this even further, we have to understand that we only want to research the instances where it's 6 fingers and 6 toes on both hands and both feet. This is polydactyly, but it is more specifically called hexadactyly. And hexadactyly means they have 6 fingers and 6 toes on both hands and both feet. And what I find extremely interesting is that people are still born with this today. It's extremely rare, with 1 in 1 million births, or only 140 people a year worldwide. They are born with this. So when we see it all over the world, the powerful giant old world figures in every continent, and they are being discovered as the leaders. This is not a common trait today at all. And there were less people back then, we are told. Yet there are so many instances where people have 6 fingers and 6 toes, and they are the leaders, and they are also giants, showing that this group, in my opinion, this is the Nephilim, they are gone. And there were so many more of them here in the past being around 500 years ago, in my opinion. I personally believe that this group did leave, with some dying from the catastrophic event that took place. The event that melted buildings. The event that covered this place with mud. But I also believe that their DNA lives on, a very small amount. I believe these 140 people per year, they might just have traces of this dominant trait. And so many times we saw that the head, the arms, the hands and the feet were removed from the depictions of our true past, the old world statues. And we see they are so deliberately removed, a perfect cut over and over. We always speculated that it was hiding more. And I believe today that we have fully exposed what it was hiding all along. Hiding that the Nephilim were here and extremely involved in the way that things were done. The leaders in every continent, I believe that we have opened up a brand new door that explains so much more about where we are. And I will never look at a statue without a head, without its feet, and without its hands the same ever again. One thing we can't overlook is how these traits, 6 fingers, 6 toes, and towering size, weren't just physical. They symbolize something so much deeper. Power, or even a connection to forces beyond this world, as we were told with the moon people, or the watchers. Across so many cultures, these individuals weren't just leaders. They were gods, warriors, and builders. Their influence shaped everything, including the massive architecture that's still here today. What if the missing hands and feet on these statues weren't just about hiding the truth, but also about erasing a lineage, erasing who once ruled and what they were capable of? It's not just about what's missing, it's about what they don't want us to see. This isn't just history we're uncovering. It's a blueprint to understanding what they don't want us to know. The Nephilim were here, and that changes everything. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. I'll be back very soon with so much more. See ya.